The United States has stood firmly by Ukraine's side since the beginning of the conflict. This unwavering support stems from a deep-seated commitment to shared values and principles. Both nations believe in the importance of freedom, democracy, and national sovereignty. The U.S. sees in Ukraine's struggle a reflection of its own fight for independence. Ukraine's pursuit of a democratic future resonates deeply with the American spirit. This shared belief in self-determination forms a cornerstone of the U.S.-Ukraine relationship. The U.S. has provided substantial military and financial aid to Ukraine. This assistance is a tangible demonstration of its commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty. The U.S. believes that a Russian victory would undermine democratic values. The Kremlin's actions are seen as a direct threat to the international rules-based order. The U.S. views its support for Ukraine as essential to defending these principles. It aims to deter future aggression and uphold global stability. The current conflict in Ukraine is not an isolated incident. It is deeply intertwined with the long and complex history of U.S.-Russia relations. These relations have been marked by periods of both cooperation and intense rivalry. The Cold War cast a long shadow, shaping perceptions on both sides. The collapse of the Soviet Union brought hope for a new era. However, old tensions resurfaced. NATO expansion and differing visions for Europe created new points of friction. Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 marked a turning point. Trust eroded further and the relationship deteriorated. The current war in Ukraine represents a dangerous escalation of this rivalry. The conflict has exacerbated existing tensions and fueled a climate of mistrust. It has also had global ramifications, impacting international security and the global economy. The invasion has shattered any illusions of a post-Cold War partnership. Ukraine's fight for survival has garnered widespread international support. A broad coalition of nations, primarily from the West, has rallied behind Ukraine. This support is a testament to the shared belief in a rules-based international order. Key players include the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union. These nations have provided military assistance, economic aid, and humanitarian support. They have also imposed sanctions on Russia. NATO members have bolstered their presence in Eastern Europe. This show of force aims to deter further Russian aggression and reassure allies. Beyond the West, countries like Japan, Australia, and South Korea have also condemned Russia's actions. This global response underscores the significance of the conflict. It highlights the international community's rejection of Russia's actions. Section 4. Limited allies, Russia's shrinking circle of support. In stark contrast to the global support for Ukraine, Russia finds itself increasingly isolated. Only a handful of countries have openly supported Russia's actions in Ukraine. This isolation reflects the deep unease over the invasion. Belarus, under the leadership of Alexander Lukashenko, remains a steadfast ally. Syria, embroiled in its own civil war and reliant on Russian support, has also backed Moscow. North Korea, with its history of antagonism towards the West, has expressed solidarity with Russia. However, even among these countries, support for Russia's invasion remains limited. Concerns about the humanitarian cost of the war and the violation of international law have tempered their stance. The limited support for Russia underscores the global condemnation of its actions. It has also had economic consequences, as sanctions bite and Russia becomes increasingly isolated. Section 5. The uncertain path ahead. Charting the course of the war. The war in Ukraine has entered a protracted and bloody stalemate. Predicting its outcome with certainty remains difficult. Multiple factors will determine the trajectory of the conflict and its eventual resolution. Militarily, both sides have demonstrated resilience and a capacity to inflict heavy casualties. Russia possesses a larger military but has faced logistical challenges and unexpectedly fierce resistance. Ukraine, bolstered by Western aid, has mounted a robust defense. Economically, the war has had a global impact. Sanctions have crippled the Russian economy, but the Kremlin has shown resilience. Ukraine has suffered devastating infrastructure damage, but Western aid has helped to mitigate the economic fallout. The outcome of the war will depend on several factors. These include the military situation, the resilience of the Ukrainian economy, and the steadfastness of Western support. The potential for a negotiated settlement will also play a crucial role. Recent negotiation attempts, while facing setbacks, offer a glimmer of hope. Public opinion in both Russia and Ukraine increasingly favors a peaceful resolution. The path ahead remains uncertain, but the desire for peace could pave the way for a negotiated end to the conflict.